A 17-year-old young man from Cincinnati fell from the 5th floor of the balcony at the Days Inn. He was deceased upon our arrival. All indications at this point is there was no foul play. It appears to be a tragic accident.
Just talk about a little bit of things involved with him falling over.
The information we have from witnesses and some of his friends are that apparently the young man was intoxicated, had become belligerent in his hotel room. Several people had left because of that. He was on the balcony of the hotel room with one of his friends. They were trying to calm him down. Apparently the people in the room next to them were on the balcony, and they were trying to tell him, "Hey man, calm down." And apparently the young man got irritated and leaned over the balcony, was shaking his finger. These people tell him to mind their own business and leave him alone. And at some point during that conversation, as he was leaning over the balcony rail, unfortunately he was tumbled over the top and fell from there to his death.
Okay, are you used to dealing with these? How many of these you usually get a season?
Unfortunately, with high-rise condominiums, hotels, this does happen from time to time. It's not very common. Last year I don't believe we had any fatalities. This year, unfortunately, this is our second one. But there's no rhyme or reason as to when and how and why. Unfortunately, you get alcohol mixed with balconies and people trying to have a good time, and unfortunately, sometimes they don't think, and something like this happens.
Just your thoughts on him being a big-time football prospect. Obviously, when the news broke, it went pretty much viral. Just your thoughts on that.
It's tragic anytime this happens. Obviously, a young man that apparently had a good upbringing, had everything going for him. It certainly touches people maybe a little more than the average person. I'd like to hope that something like this and the awareness of it, maybe brings more awareness to the situation, and people, maybe take some lessons from it and learn something, so maybe we can prevent something like this from happening, in the future.
What's the message you get out to them, the lesson?
Our consistent message that we talk to people about coming here is, we realize you're coming here to have a good time. We ask that you do so in moderation. We ask that you don't do anything here you wouldn't normally do at home. And people talk about, Panama City Beach, spring break, it's tragic, but these things happen in college towns all the time. You have people that, these kids go into the woods and something tragic will happen there. Unfortunately, it's usually alcohol, infused, and common sense, goes away, and inhibitions go away, and unfortunately, things like this happen to young people from time to time. Not necessarily always on Panama City Beach; it could be anywhere. But again, the message is use alcohol in moderation. We would certainly prefer that people underage not have alcohol. Unfortunately, it does happen. It did happen in this case, and a tragedy happens, and that's our message, is to try to prevent these tragedies from happening.
Is the investigation closed? Is it going to keep going? Or?
The investigation is ongoing. Obviously, one of the main things we'll have to await is an autopsy report. We feel comfortable that the cause of death is most likely going to be a blunt trauma, suffered from the fall. Toxicology results usually take 6 to 8 weeks. The investigation will remain open at least until that time. Barring any unforeseen information that we don't have from people, then at this point we're going to list it as an accidental death. But we're obviously, if anybody has information, we would like for them to call us at 850-233-5000. We'd be glad to talk to anyone. We have obviously been trying to look into where this individual got alcohol from in the first place. I think that's probably an obvious question for y'all, but at this point, really no one wants to come forward with any information about that. It's so far kind of magically appeared, I guess, but we are looking into that. If someone wants to come forward with some information, we'd be more than happy to talk to them about that or any other facet of the investigation.
And the balcony wasn't disrupted, or it wasn't broken, or it's just...
No, the balcony railing was intact. There's no indication of any failure on the part of the balcony or on the part of anyone other than what I described.
Just his sheer weight. I mean, he was 6'8", 290. I mean, it's just the sheer weight of this guy.
And that's something people have to realize. Balconies are a set distance that's prescribed by law, and some may be a little higher than that, but there's a minimum height that is set by Florida statutes. Obviously, for the average person that may be 5'9", 6 foot, whatever the case may be, that's one thing in proportion to their body size. But when you look at someone that's 6'8", you know, has a large mass in the upper body, obviously the center of gravity is different, and it you know, could certainly make that, you know, a little easier for someone of a large frame rather than someone that's small, and the balcony may come up to their you know, their torso or something. Karen, did you have anything while we're talking? Exactly how high this balcony was, we have that information. I don't have it, but it was a 5th floor balcony.
The railing was the Florida the statute that regulates how high do the railings have to be.
And again,
built.
yes, we measure all that. My crime scene people, you know, take all that information. I don't have that handy at this point.
Hey, Dan?
Yes.
Do you guys, the 911 calls come in there to the sheriff's office?
Yes, the way the 911 system works here in Bay County, the calls go directly to the Bay County Sheriff's Office and/or the paramedics. Yes, yes, it's transferred to us. But yes, if you want a copy of any 911 calls, I would refer you to the emergency operations folks.
Okay.
That's and Karen, I don't know if you still have it. That's I think it's 784-4000, I believe.
Okay.
The sheriff's office is 747-4700.